Hey, Frank Paris here. What you're looking at is a piece of Automata history. It's a singing, chirping bird. These were manufactured in the 19th and 20th century, and some were manufactured in the 18th century uh, uh, and sold to aristocrats, uh, people who had a lot of money. And these were not considered toys, but at the same time, they weren't considered you know, they were luxury items, okay? And this is a wind-up automaton or automata, which is a short slang term for them. These were beautifully constructed out of gears and materials by watchmakers. Watchmakers used to build these things, and they would sell them to the very rich and wealthy people. And this is a particular model built by a gentleman named Carl Grisbaum, and he manufactured a number of these things back in the 20th century. And in the 1950s or 60s, they were still being made, but they weren't as the quality wasn't as up to par as the one that I'm looking at right now. Uh, Today, something in this condition would go at auction for about $5,000 to $7,000. The item is a wind up, so when you wind this thing up with your hand, it the birds when you push the lever sings and chirps, and the head moves and the tail moves and the mouth moves. So these are very very sought after pieces. What a magician called Del Rey did was he decided that he wanted to use one of these things in his act. Okay, and so what he did was he took this particular unit and had somebody rework it so that when he used an electromagnetic table, which he used all the time in his close-up act, when he pushed a toe switch, a switch that he had in his foot, which transmitted a signal to the table, which activated an electromagnet, the bird, which had some mechanism in it, would automatically start chirping. So he would have an interaction, a byplay with the bird, and they would work together to do a trick. And of course, it was very funny and very charming. But he used one of these automata birds by Carl Grisbaum. Now, what I have done is I have taken this particular unit and manufactured a developed, I should say, a mechanism by which you can use a transmitter and a receiver, which is installed already in this unit, to activate the bird. Now, you could use a toe switch, and I can add a toe switch to it, but basically, if I were doing this thing, I would probably have the remote control, which you see right here, Velcro to the table. Okay, and I would just push the button and I'd lean in and have a conversation with the bird. Or you could also have a clipboard, right, just a clipboard, and you could have the remote control clip to it, and you could say that the clipboard had the script that the bird and you were going to use. And of course, you would do whatever card trick or trick you wanted to do, coin trick or a mind reading thing with the bird. The bird would guess the numbers on the dice, or he'd guess what the card was and how far it was in the deck, and that kind of thing, by just bantering back and forth by saying, do you know where the card is? You do. Oh, good. The bird would chirp, okay, because you'd be activating this. How far down is it? Is it a black card? Is it a red card? That kind of thing. Is it a 4? Is it a 6? So this is the kind of thing that Del Rey did with the bird. And so when you get this bird, if you buy one from me, and I'm going to be very honest, I'm not going to be making that many more because I cannot find them in this condition, and I don't want to work on something that's not in this kind of a condition. Now, usually what happens is I get them, there's something wrong with them, or there's something that needs to be fixed or repaired or something, and I have parts that I've accumulated over the years, and I replace the parts, the gear, or the bellows, that kind of thing. So, and then of course I want the bodies to look good. So if they're not looking good, I clean them up and refurbish them too. This I didn't have to do that with because this one had a beautiful cage and a beautiful body. It needed a new bellows and one gear. and I fixed that and I put that in. So now we have this beautiful bird, and when you get it, it's going to be, there's going to be screws. 1, 2, 3 screws to hold the cage and this piece, this base piece, together. Okay? Del Rey didn't work with the birdcage. He took the birdcage off. So just for the purposes of this particular video, I'm going to show you that the birdcage does come off after you've taken the 3 screws out. Say the screws. Okay? And then of course this base comes off too. I'm going to take that off so I can show you what's inside and what was done to make this unit automated. So here we have the birdcage, all right, and I've added a 9-volt battery. You can see that's right here, a 9-volt battery with Velcro on here, and it's a rechargeable battery. So when you buy this from me, you're going to get 4 batteries, 4 9-volt batteries, and you're going to get the charging unit, which is right here. This is the charging unit. So you'll get the charging unit, and you'll get 4 rechargeable batteries. Now, the batteries, I should say, if I can find one here, the batteries are called KRATAX, Kratax. Now, Kratax is a company that manufactures 9-volt batteries and other things, but their batteries are, let me see if I can see this, okay, 800 milliamps. You can see that, 800 milliamps. Duracell batteries, not rechargeable, but Duracell batteries, and the rechargeable ones only go up to 600 megaamps, okay? This is 850 megaamps. There's only one other company that comes close, and that is the EBL batteries, okay, 9-volt batteries, which are only 600 milliamps. And I only recently discovered the Kratax, whatever you want to call it, Kratax 850 milliamp batteries, which is a powerful battery. And when you want a powerful battery, because what's in the unit, what makes this whole thing work, is the transmitter plus a little receiver, okay? And that receiver, okay, is connected to what's called a solenoid, all right? And when you press the button, like so, that pushes the solenoid via this lever, okay, this little piece of metal I put on here, that pushes the lever that is normally on the bird to the on position, and that on position activates the bird. So you have the receiver connected to the solenoid, connected to a little piece of metal here, and when you press this button here, it activates the bird. So now, again, this could be on a clipboard, it could be on a under the desk, Velcro to the bottom of the desk, or you can, as I mentioned to a number of customers, disconnect this momentary transmitter, unscrew the 3 screws that are in here, and then connect 2 wires, 1 and 2 wires to the inside switch. There's a switch on either. There's this button has a solder point on each side of it. Okay, so if you connected the solder points to 2 wires, okay, and then maybe dremeled out a little bit of the plastic here and ran the wires out the back, you'd have these long wires that you could connect to a toe switch, some kind of a switch that you would press with your foot inside, and this would be Velcro to your ankle if you want to go that far. I've always found toe switches not to be my favorite thing. There are other people that swear by toe switches when they want to activate a prop. So, and again, I have a video on how to do that if you were to wind up buying something like this from me, assuming that I'm going to make more, which again, I mentioned that I can't find ones in the best condition, and the ones that aren't in the best condition, I have to do a refurbishing, and even then, I have issues with them. And I don't want to pay good money for ones that need to be refurbished, and I'm paying maybe $2,500 for one that needs to be refurbished. So that's a lot of money to pay. And then I've got to double the price or whatever. I got to add a price on there to make a profit. So again, if you get one of these and you're lucky to have one of these, and I've sold 8 of them in the last 2 years, cherish it, because it is. I only pick the best ones, the Carl Grisbaums, and I always pick the ones that are in the best of shape. And then if I have to do one or two little things to it to make it function better, then I do that. And then I add the solenoid, and I add the receiver, and I add the momentary switch, the transmitter momentary switch, and we go off to the races. So now, putting this together and performing this. This is the cover that goes on here. And I'm going to do this backwards, so I'm not sure how this is going to work out. I may have to stand up a little bit here. I'm just going to line this here. You see this little section right here with the lever. I'm going to line that up with the lever. And I'm gently going to put this down so that it's on here. And you want to put it so that the unit has the lever in the middle, more or less. Okay, maybe a little bit to the right of the unit. Okay, so now it's on there, and this is the way you're going to perform it. You're going to pick it up. It's not. There's no screws in here. You're not going to be. I'm sorry, I didn't get it on right, did I? There we go. You're going to perform it so that there's no screws or anything. So when you pull it out of your case, after you wound it up, I'm going to line this up. Okay, I don't think I have it on right. I'm going to have to just do it like so. Here we go. All right, so now that's on there. And now if you would hit the button. Oh, come on. I don't have it on there right. Oops, sorry. Now let's just get this where I can see it. Here we go. Sometimes when you explain things on the video, here we go. Now I have it on right. Okay, so when you pull this out of whatever box you're going to pull this out of, okay, you can see that you want to grab it by your thumb and your fingers underneath, like so. And you want to make sure that lever, look at the lever is over a little bit more to this side, the right side, than it is to the left side, so that you get this freedom. You get the freedom for the solenoid to move back and forth when you hit the remote control. So that's basically it with the unit. And then for transport, I don't take the cage with me. The cage stays home with the 3 screws, maybe Scotch tape to it. This just stays the way this is. And that's basically it. Now, some of the things that can happen, and sometimes things happen. Okay, this is double sticked. Okay, double stick tape that holds the solenoid to the base of the bird cage, and there's double stick tape on the receiver, which is this guy right here. That is also double sticked because I didn't want to make anything permanent. If you decided you wanted to take all of this stuff off and just use it as a regular bird, you could do that. And there's nothing holding it that cannot be undone or reversed, so that this goes right back to the way it was before it became a piece of magic prop or magical prop. And I did that on purpose. I created this in such a way that you would have it so that you could restore it back to its original form by just cutting some wire ties and taking the solenoid off with the double stick tape on there, and just pulling out the receiver and the battery pack and the Velcro, okay, which is holding it. All right. So none of this stuff is irreversible. You can always take this unit and make it become what it was before. And that's basically it. And this is the piece, and it is a beautiful prop. It's just a gorgeous piece of a mechanical genius that Carl did, and there are other companies that made them too. That's all solid brass inside there. All of these gears and everything are solid brass. These are very, very expensive, even in the worst shape. Okay, I've seen them on eBay and on Etsy, and they want $2,700, $3,500, $2,500 without making it a magic prop. That's what they want. And the birds are all dusty and dirty and that kind of thing. So with me, I put new green felt on here. I took the screws out, lifted the bird up out of the unit, and then put it back in. And it was painstaking work for me. And each one of these things takes me about 2 or 3 months just to make sure it's okay, and maybe have to change the bellows, put a new bellows in, and you've got to take the whole thing apart in order to put a bellows in. You've got to take the whole thing apart to put a gear in or something like that. So these are and I'm not a watchmaker. I'm far from it. But the love of these things, these automated things for me, these mechanical things, is such that I went the extra mile and a half to learn how to work with them and how to do some repair and some fixing. I'm not a watchmaker. I'm never going to be perfect, but the ones that I have, and like I said, I have this one. I've got another one here I'm working on right now. You can see this guy needs a little bit of work. So this is that, and then of course the bird. There's the bird over here on this guy. This is a smaller version. You can see this is a smaller version here. Is my camera working? I think I lost my ability to do a follow. Hold on a second. Oh, I guess it's all right. Well, anyway, this is the bird that works with this particular Birdcage over here. So there's a process. There's a process. And when you get this, you're going to get an extra remote control, so you can make one with a toe switch, an extra receiver when you to go along with the toe switch remote. You'd have to swap it out. You'd have to swap out the receiver and the toe switch remote for the remote control that is like this. Or I can make it for you that way, if you decided you wanted to do that. And I'm going to see if there's anything else. Here's the solenoid. This is the solenoid here. I'm just finishing up the mechanism for this solenoid. Okay, this is how this works. That just pushes it forward. Okay, so this is what pushes that lever forward. Okay. I think that's basically it. This is, like I said, this is a beautiful piece of equipment, and it's very rare that you find them in the condition that I found them in. And when they have been refurbished, if the guy says on Etsy or on eBay, it's been refurbished, and you get it, and you paid your $2,500 or $2,200 or whatever it is, or $1,500, $1,800. Sometimes they're even cheaper, but they're not in very good shape. Sometimes they say they're for parts, and when you get these things and you have to reconcile the fact that you got something that you got to do some work on, that's fine. And when you get it in this kind of condition, this is the way I got this one, with very few things that I had to do to it, other than add the transmitter and receiver, you get very lucky. And again, these pieces are, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, these are, these are for professional magicians who want to have something totally unique in their act, that want to acknowledge the fact that they are special when it comes to performing and presentation, and they're providing you with the best entertainment that they can give you, because they're providing the best props, the nicest looking props that are available. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And I think that if you purchase one of these from me, and I have references. We have people. I have a doctor in California that bought one. I had one in Sweden. I have another person in France. I have 2 people in this country that have bought them, and there's 2 or 3 other people that bought them in this country also. So these are they are not something that everybody can afford. They're not something that everybody can buy. But if you can afford it, you can buy it, and you want to get something totally unique to your act, then this is the way to go, okay? And I'm happy to present them to you. And Frank Paris, over and out. Thank you for listening.